Welcome to Down in the Den Visual, Army of the Dead. The review, only on Down in the Den. Welcome to Down in the Den. It's your boy Marz, aka Marlon Beardo, the Bearded Weirdo, and thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. And I hope everyone had a fantastic week and is having a great weekend. It is Saturday, May 22nd, when we are recording this. And man, I had a fantastic day. And part of the day was watching Army of the Dead, Zack Snyder's latest release, available now on Netflix. And let me tell you, I owe a huge apology to Zack Snyder. I was a fan of multiple movies before his relationship with Warner Brothers and DC began. 300 was fantastic. I was a huge fan of his interpretation of Watchmen. But then, and Man of Steel wasn't my favorite, but it was still quality and a very good Superman movie, especially compared to the Brandon Roth Superman Lives film. So I was really stoked. It wasn't as good as the Avengers or as fun as some of the Marvel movies, but I was really stoked, especially being that Man of Steel was supposed to be initially, as I thought, set in the same grounded universe that the Batman movies created by Christopher Nolan were in. So I wasn't disappointed with Man of Steel at all. I felt the tone was in line with the Christopher Nolan movies. But then Batman v Superman happened, and I was just really disappointed in the cut that was issued in the theaters. It was really disjointed. There was huge opportunities in the narrative, gaps that just didn't make sense. And then we realized that the studio interfered. That movie didn't make nearly as much money as some of the Marvel movies, and somewhere down the line, the good folks at Warner Brothers decided, hey, let's make a carbon copy version of the MCU without any of the legwork, and it failed miserably. Not only was Batman v Superman even bad, but unfortunately, Justice League was perhaps one of the top 5 worst superhero movies I've ever seen. I literally fell asleep at the theater, and the last superhero movie to make me do that was 2005 Ang Lee's Hulk with Ed Banner. So that's rare air that that movie was finding itself in, and horrendous company, if I do say so myself. After Justice League Snyder Cut hit this summer over, or actually in the spring over on HBO Max, I realized, okay, this may not be Zack Snyder's fault, and this may be the fault of the interference on the folks Warner Brothers, as well as the horrible rewrites done by Josh Whedon. So I was really excited to see his next movie, and Netflix made it clearly, clearly known that this is Zack Snyder's cut. They did not interfere with this film at all and let Zack Snyder really do what Zack Snyder does. And he did it to perfection. Now, coming into this film, I hadn't heard much about the film besides the controversy when comedian Chris D'Elia was replaced by comedian Tig Notaro digitally in post. And that was really the last thing I heard about this movie. Anybody who has watched the show know I'm a huge fan of Dave Batista. Followed him in his days in WWE. I followed him with his early Hollywood career and really watched how he got better and better with each progressive film. And of course, I'm a huge fan of the two Guardians of the Galaxy films, as well as his work in the Avenger movies. So I've been a big fan of Dave Bautista, even his brief mixed martial arts career. And he's always came across to me as someone that really appears to be a really good guy, and he's loyal to his friends. He's a person that has high character. When the controversy with James Gunn occurred and he was fired by the good folks at Disney, Dave Batista was the first one to come in defense of his friend. And to me, that showed guts and integrity So I've been a big fan. And out of the three big former pro wrestlers that have made it into Hollywood, The Rock, John Cena, and Batista, he is, in my opinion, by far the most talented and really pulls off being this huge physical brute in appearance with just like a childlike innocence and pathos that really comes through so relatable. And by far, I feel he's the most talented wrestler turned actor in Hollywood. Movie also starred Amari Hardwood, who's coming off his first major roles as being killed off in Power. So I was totally intrigued by this movie. And guys, I'm going to let you know this film did not disappoint. So if you haven't watched the movie yet, my recommendation would be turn off this podcast, click off the YouTube, wherever you're looking this at, and save this link. Come back after you've watched the flick. Are you still there? Still there? Okay, come close. Come close to the screen. Listen carefully. This movie kicked so much ass. So now I'm going to go into the recap of the plot, and then we'll go ahead and review the film. The movie starts off with an army convoy delivering a package to a top secret military base in Nevada. You hear a little chit chat between the characters because they don't really even know what they're hauling in their payload. Could it be alien? Could it be a secret weapon? No one knows. We also see another family having a conversation, completely not paying attention. And the movie opens up with a horrendous, beautifully shot auto accident between the pedestrians and this Jeep convoy. It totally wrecks and causes several fatalities. And then we realize what's in this package. And there's a whole movie in that story alone. But apparently, there's some type of super hybrid zombie soldier type thing, and I guess the government was experimenting on zombies to make super soldiers, or as they call them in this film, Alpha Z's. And this thing was incredible and unlike anything I've seen in zombie movies. And for the last decade, zombies have been all the rage, of course, with The Walking Dead, which at one point was the biggest show in the world. And there's World War Z and several zombie movies that have come out. But Army of the Dead has just a flair and heart as well as humor and darkness and a little bit of cheesiness that you need in this movie is that Jeff's kiss. It was fantastic. The first 10 minutes alone is really it's really just mind blowing and it's shot in that beautiful Zack Snyder way, regardless of what you feel of his writing or his dialogue, which in some cases can be a bit cheesy. The man can shoot a movie. Visually, he's probably the best in the game, if not top three, in my humble opinion. It was fantastic and beautifully shot. We also see a little bit of backstory and tragedy, but behind Batista's character, Dave Batista's character, and you can see him rescuing people out of Las Vegas before it was bombed and really turned into a wasteland that belonged to the zombies. So let's talk a little bit about Dave Batista's character. Batista's character is named Scott Ward. He's a former Army vet who was a hero in the Las Vegas exit of the survivors from the zombie apocalypse that was taken on by the alpha zombies that happened earlier in the film. And you see, I'm not sure if it was his wife and kids or someone he was trying to save, but you saw the tragic results of their escape. And tragic it was. I almost shed a little tear, and this is even before the credits finished rolling. So that was awesome to see. We cut into the future, and now he's a retired soldier who's flipping burgers in a local burger joint when he's approached by billionaire businessman. Hunter Bly, played by I believe his name, and I'm sure I'm butchering it. Euro Hashaka Sanada, Hiroyuki Sanada. Please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it, but he's your typical crooked businessman who comes to Batista's character with a deal. Hey, there's $200 million locked away in a casino. You get in there, I have blueprints, you assemble your crew, and you'll get $50 million to split between you and your crew. So this is an opportunity that was really just something he couldn't refuse. And he goes along creating this Ocean's 12 like crack team to help him get into this safe and get the money. So we have Gita's character, who he has a history with. They were formerly in love. That was played by Huma Qureshi. We have his daughter, Kate Ward, played by Ella Purnell. We have Marianne, played by Tig Notaro. She replaced Chris D'Elia. We have Ludwig Dieter, the safe cracker, and Tig character. Marianne is a helicopter pilot. We also have Anna uh, De La Reguera, who played Maria Cruz, and of course Amari Harwood, who played Vanderow. And everyone had their own unique role and ability and talent that made them unique to the team. Some of the highlights for me in this film was Matthew Schweigenhofer's Ludwig Dieter, the safecracker, the German safecracker, who had this obsession with machinery and watches and safes. His character was awesome, and I understand that they have a prequel announced starring his character. But the movie is fast and furious, no pun intended. It really starts moving after he assembles the team. He also meets some other characters that will help guide, and then there's some crooked characters that are, of course, there to sabotage this mission. But just the action, the set pieces, the cinematography, the score, everything was awesome in this film. To summarize the story, of course, things don't go right. One of the characters that is working with Bly's character is not there for the money, but he's essentially there to sabotage the team and capture some of these alpha zombies, as he believes they are worth far more than the $200 million in petty cash that's left in the safe in the casino. He goes about slowly sabotaging them one by one until really we only have a few characters remaining. Also, the main character, Zeus, the main zombie character, I'm not quite sure the actor that played this role, but he's a beast. The alpha zombies are all beasts. They move quicker, they're smarter, they're fast. And one of the plot twists, it seems like they're actually extremely intelligent. The main zombie, Zeus, has a queen who, to even go in their zombie land, as one of the characters say, hey, this isn't like a refugee camp. This is actually their kingdom. The zombies have made a kingdom with organized structure, and even they're able to ride horses. These are not your typical mindless brain zombies. These are zombies that actually have a plan. They're intelligent. They're just modified, evolved, or devolved, whatever you want to say, forms of life, and something that really should be treated with some type of respect. Of course, the jerk face uh, that was sent by Belai has no intentions on respecting the culture that had been cultivated by these new advanced alpha zombie. That character is that character is Martin. Martin is played by Garrett Dillahunt from Fear the Walking Dead fame, and he is a jerk in this film. He definitely had no good intentions. Also, Theo Rossi from um, the motorcycle show, which I can't think. He also plays a incredibly creepy character, and he is good at it. He was a creep in several other programs, and he's perfectly cast because he does the creep thing better than most. But essentially, their plot already starts to unravel when Batista's character Ward's daughter, Ella Ward, or Kate Ward, played by Ella Purnell, decides she wants to tag along to help rescue a friend of hers who went in trying to get some of this money in the casino to get a better life for her and her children. Obviously, that was a bad plan, along with allowing Martin's character to be a tag along, but it's very awesome. The guide that they have is a character, Lily, played by Nora Arnez-Zetter, I believe is her name. But she uses Theo Rossi's character, Bert, to essentially be a sacrifice for the zombie. There's rules and structure in this army of the dead, and he's a rapist, he's a bully, he's a jerk, he's a disgusting character. So no one felt bad at all letting this guy take the fall so they could go along on their mission to get the money. The problem lies when Lily makes a side deal with Garrett Dillahunt's character Martin. She tells, or he tells her, "Hey, I'll get you a side deal if you help me catch some blood from a vial of blood from some of these alpha zombies." But instead, he brutally saws off her head. The twist is somehow, some way, and I don't know if this is going to be answered in the sequels, the queen of the zombies was actually pregnant with the alpha zombies child. Yes, these zombies are bumping ugly, and they were really starting a new life as the next form of human civilization or evolution, perhaps. And it starts a war. The army of the dead is now ready for war, and it gets dangerous fast, and I mean fast. We see a lot of the characters start to get picked off one by one until really the only characters we have left is Ward, his daughter, and her friend that she's going to rescue, as well as Tid's character, the pilot. We see some awesome set pieces and a very cool mid-air helicopter battle, followed by a crash that leaves most of them injured, some of them dead. And we find out, sadly, Ward's character had been bit by the alpha zombie, and his own daughter had to take him out, just like he took out her mother and his wife earlier in the film. The movie ends after pretty much them failing, Vegas being nuked, all the characters dead except his daughter, and you realize, plot twist, Amari Hartwood's character, who had been uh, tossed in a safe earlier in the movie and you assume died in the crash, did not die. He survives, gets the $200 million out, gets home, goes to Mexico, gets on a private jet, and appears that he's going to be the only survivor when he finds out he's bit, and the movie goes off with a cliffhanger with what's going to happen next. And there's plenty of opportunities for Netflix to have a franchise on their hand. We do know that they have two prequel movies planned, one animated, which will see the majority of the characters coming back to voice their characters in an animated form. And as I mentioned earlier, the Safecracker will have a prequel movie as well. I believe it's called Army of Thieves, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm excited for these films. Netflix definitely has a hit on their hand. And Batista, you get the belt. You are the best wrestler actor. You're the champ. But anyway, guys, it was fun talking about Army of the Dead. I really hope you guys check out the movie. If you haven't, once you do, come back, check out this review and recap. The review, I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was great. Some of the dialogue was a bit clunky, but story wise, it was fantastic. Visually, it was beautiful. It was new. It was a new twist on the zombie genre, and I can't wait to see the sequel and prequels. Yeah, awesome, awesome. But anyway, that's been today's episode of Down in the Den. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. If you love what you're hearing, feel free to send me a message. I'm always able to get back as much as I can. And I thank you guys for listening. As always, deuces.